Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to Vedic Heritage. In the earlier episode, we saw the story of Rshi Brnghi from the Skanda Purana. The story talks of an insult to Parvati Devi by a Rishi who ignores her yet worships Sri Shiva. Her anger and then her quest to gain equal importance is the gist of the story. Most Puranic stories similar to this one often talk of gods and goddesses who exhibit emotions and actions like humans. They get angry, jealous, hurt, all of which are indications of ignorance, not qualities of God. Many of the stories do not even have a clear moral for us to understand. Then what is their purpose? Let us start at the beginning. The most ancient texts of Hindus, the Vedas, are considered the most sophisticated texts on a variety of subjects. Among them, the texts which examine the nature and purpose of life, the philosophical texts, are called Upanishads. They tell us, Ekam Sat, there is but one reality. Everything else is just an illusion. It is a highly philosophical thought, not easily understood by us. Therefore, the Puranas, the later additions, describe the same truth through stories. We need to understand that Puranic stories are allegorical in nature. All these stories are meant to convey very deep philosophical content in layman language and mode. Therefore, on first impression, they may not seem relevant to us. But only when we look a bit deeper will we see the symbolic meaning that they are meant to convey. So, what is the meaning of this story? This story conveys the concept of the functional world and the universal consciousness, which is the basis of everything. Let me explain this. The Vedas tell us that the universe that we know of exists within this infinite universal consciousness. Nothing exists outside of this. Everything is born of this infinite consciousness, made of it, dies within it, and merges back with it. There is nothing other than consciousness. This is a very difficult concept for us to understand and accept. The Puranas now try to make this esoteric knowledge more approachable to the common person. So, although there is only one Supreme, the various roles of this Supreme Consciousness are symbolized as different forms. Creation, maintenance, death and reincarnation are the processes we see in nature, be it galaxies, stars, solar systems, earth. We see these processes all around us. The trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, three male gods, symbolize these three processes of birth, maintenance and death and reincarnation. They signify three aspects of the single Supreme One. If we analyze these processes, we observe certain powers or forces in action. For example, the process of creation. It begins with the thought or will to create. That is the power of Ichha Shakti. Then it requires the know-how, the knowledge to create. This is the power of Jnana Shakti. Lastly, the act of creation is the power Kriya Shakti. Thus, the will to create, the knowledge to create, and the act of creation are the three powers which propel the process of creation. Similarly, the same powers propel each process, be it maintenance, death, or reincarnation. These powers are called Shaktis, and they are symbolized as the female trinity Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga Devis. Neither are processes masculine nor are powers feminine. But it is easier to describe these abstract concepts when we put a shape or a name to them. We relate better to Lakshmi Devi than to a concept of wealth. That is human nature. Puranic tales use this approach to teach their concepts. Coming back to the story, what does Sri Shiva represent here? Sri Shiva represents the Supreme Consciousness. We saw earlier Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu are all different aspects of the same universal consciousness. So, even if seen as Shiva, he is the one and only truth. We therefore call him Parameshwaran, the Supreme God. Shiva is also the aspect of death and reincarnation. Death delivers the soul from one life into another. Death of the ego delivers the soul to liberation. This is why Sri Shiva is also portrayed as the yogi, the ascetic who is self-realized, the one who teaches us to achieve liberation through yoga. Then what does Parvati Devi signify? We see that in order for the universe to exist, there are a multitude of forces. We saw earlier that the trinity of powers, Ichcha, Jnana and Kriya Shaktis, are the fundamental energies which power the worlds. Although symbolized as different Devis, Lakshmi, Saraswati and Parvati, they are all essentially different aspects of power and are symbolized in totality as Adi Parashakti. In fact, Adi Parashakti is taken as the supreme mother goddess. Since there can be no life without her benevolence, she is the supreme one. As the integral force of the created worlds, she also represents Maya, the illusory power to keep one trapped in ignorance of the true self. She is the mother who holds her children close and does not want to let them go. Therefore, in this story, Shiva is the path to realization and Devi is the one who binds you to worldly life. This gives a clue as to why Rshi Brnghi ignored Parvati Devi. We will see that in the next episode. Do subscribe, like and share with like-minded friends. Thank you for watching. Harihi Om.